Alright guys, we just displayed the data. Now let's see how we can delete a data. So I'm gonna open this route again inside this API, and now we need to have a delete request. So I'm gonna export a new function here, and this time it's gonna be delete async. Now inside here we need to have a try and catch block. Now to delete a contact we need their ID. So we are going to get their ID here, and the ID is coming from this request. So const ID is equal to request dot next URL dot search params dot get, and we are going to get this ID. Okay, it's going to be search. So now using this next URL we are going to get this ID. So down here we need to write await. Now using this contacts schema name contacts dot find by ID and delete. Now we need to pass our ID in here. Okay, so we need to return a new response here, next response dot JSON. Inside this object we need to have a message saying contact is deleted. Okay, and we need to have a status of 200. Okay, now I'm gonna copy this error message from here and just paste it in here. This is how we can make a delete request. Now let's move to the fetch data file in here. So I'm gonna export a new function here, const remove data, which is equal to async. Inside here we need to have a try and catch block, and just write await axios dot delete, and inside this parentheses you can write your route. So /API /contacts, and we need to write this question mark and ID. So this ID is coming from this next URL, and it's going to be equal to the ID that we received from the client side. So I'm gonna write this ID in here. Okay, for this error message I'm gonna copy and paste this in here. Okay guys, our function is ready. So I'm gonna open this single contacts in here, and as you can see we have two buttons. The first one is delete and the second one is update button. So in here again we need to have the usMutation hook from reac-query. I'm gonna write here mutate is loading is error, and they are coming from usMutation hook. Make sure to change this component to be client component also, use client. Okay, now inside here we need to have an object. So at first we need to have a mutation key in here. Our key is going to be inside this array, and this key must be the same as the previous keys. Okay, like we added inside this add contact page. Okay, and following that we need to send our ID. So our ID from the database is this underscore ID. We can structure that from our item here. If you take a look at the database, you can see our ID has this underscore. Okay, now following that we need to have our mutation function here. Mutation function is this function. Okay, remove data. We need to have this arrow function because we need to send our ID using this function. We are going to pass this ID in here. Okay, now our mutate function is ready. So down here in this button we need to have an onClick arrow function, and you need to write mutate and just pass this underscore ID. Okay, and following that, similar to this one, we need to have this onSuccess function. I'm gonna copy this from here. Okay, and we need to import this query client also. It is stored inside this variable, use query client. Okay, just import this from reac-query. Okay guys, our function is ready. Now let's check if we can delete a contact or not. As you can see, I have my data in here. Now if I click this button, you can see the data will be deleted. I can delete other data, and that's it. Now if I delete all of them from here, you can see we don't have any data. So instead I want to display a message here. So again, I'm gonna move to this page. So down this table, I'm going to set a condition. So inside this parentheses, I'm going to say if data.length is equal to 0, then we are going to display this message here, and the message is going to be inside this div. Okay, and the message will say no data available. Now let's check it. As you can see, we have this message. You can style that. So I'm going to add a class name for this div. Width is going to be full. We need to have a background color white with the opacity of 40 and also a padding of 2. Okay, if I save the file here, now you can see we have no data available. So I can add a new data. Let's add it. I'm gonna fill this form here. As you can see, we have this data in here. You can also use the edge loading. As you can see, we have this edge loading. So I'm gonna add this inside this class name. So I'm gonna change this double quote to be a temporary string. Okay, and inside here we need to set a condition. So I'm going to say if there is edge loading, then I want to set the text to be read color, text read and 500. Okay, otherwise I want this to be this empty string. Now let's save it. Now in here, if I click this button, you can see the button will get read color for a while and will be deleted. Okay,